Hey there, man. How are you doing? I just got back home after not sleeping for a week. You probably already know this, but it seems that the Georgian Dream government has frauded the election extensively. There was so much violence on the streets. They stole ballouts and they did so many crazy things I cannot even count. There are pages and pages and video evidence and craziness associated with the election. I think there might be another wave of protest coming up in Georgia, and this time I think it's going to get really crazy.
I remember first time I attended the protest. It was a very small-scale protest. There were a couple of people there protesting the injustice associated with the previous government. And I was really young and really stupid back then. So I remember going up to some politician's car and screaming to them get the hell out from your office because you don't deserve to be in one. That was one of the smaller scale protests that got me hooked. I do have protests in my origin in some sense because my grandparents used to attend the first protest in Soviet Union in Georgia that was held in 1956. Then my mother and my uncle were active participants of 1989, 1991 period and 2003 period also. It's been up to my generation to keep the flame going and make sure that this country stays sane, this country becomes less corrupt, and there are no tyrannical, oppressive laws passed in Georgia. When I go to those protests, I hear out a lot of people share their pain, share their suffering, and it is important for me to hear them out. I think I've been protesting for 15 years now. It's safe to say 300 to 400 protests. Now it is increasingly unsafe because a lot of social activists are being beaten up, threatened on their life most of the time. I am pretty much desensitized towards the threats because I received so many of them. I think I hit the limit of caring about them. However, some people who arrived near my apartment, so that was very unpleasant because I'm not a confrontational or violent type. I've seen so much heroism occur on this very street. I've seen people stand here despite of gas, despite of the rubber bullets, stand. Helmets are really important because if the police catches you, they're going to beat you up. And that has been the situation for quite some time now in Georgia. With a face mask or goggle eyes, so you can protect yourself from the water cannon, because if the water cannon, from the close proximity, if the water cannon attacks you and it hits your face, it might damage your eyeballs. There is this magic trick that you need to know during the protesting. You put on the gloves, you duct tape a water bottle with a wide lid, and you look where the smoke bomb is falling. So if it falls right next to you, you quickly need to grab it, and it's hard, so you need to wear gloves, but you put it in the water, and then it negates the effects. If the smoke gas is not very effective, or in addition to the smoke gas, they use the rubber bullets, and the rubber bullets are the most dangerous. One of those events where when we were protesting here, we were behind the parliament building, just like we are right now. My friend was standing right next to the gates of the parliament. Policeman from inside the parliament building took a shot with a rubber bullet at him. He dodged, and I was sitting right here on the staircase, and the bullet just flew right next to me. So now we have this souvenir. Ministry of Internal Affairs came up with a public statement the same day this bullet has ended up in my hand, that no rubber bullets were used, like ever. So you can trust those people, because here I'm holding one. It kind of reminds us that we cannot give up and we cannot forget the offense pro-Russian government attacking its own people and trying to preserve their seat of power. Georgian dream, which I refer to as Russian nightmare, they've shown that their true colors in terms of being Russian slaves. I'm just angry, and this government does not get to represent me or anyone in Georgia anymore, because 84% of Georgia wants the European Union membership. This government has failed to do the basic thing that we requested them to do, and has turned into a violent, tyrannical, and vile creature of oppression. Is going to be their downfall this year. It is really, really difficult for me to predict any kind of scenario. If they rig the election, then we start protesting, then what? Because I'm a peaceful protester. My entire life I've never tried to not be a peaceful protester. However, if the peaceful protests do not have a merit, then you have two options, either violence or you just leave the country. If they rig the election, they're going to see a backlash have not been seen in Georgia for at least very many years. 500,000 people who were standing on the streets of Georgia a couple of months ago are going to come out, and they're going to invite their friends over, so they will have 1 million people on the streets. Having 1 million people on the streets is really, really dangerous for the government. After that, it's just anyone's guess what's going to happen.